Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Life is poetic. Life is poetic. We back, baby, with yours truly, Poetically, Poeticlee. And life is poetic because, I mean, how do you make sense of everything happening in the world? By just understanding it's all a poetic narrative for you to just enjoy and realize that it's all BS. But let's get into it properly. Let's get into it right. Hold on. Hold on. You see, come on, come on. Who they thought this was? Our levels right, our levels right. We back into it.
You see the eyes.
Come on, baby. I need you to ride with me in 2024. Let's go. If you know the hook.
God, body. When I pop my chest. God, body. When I
Yeah.
body.
We here.
God,
Body. Watch me move the crowd.
God, body. When I pop my chest. God, body. When I do
My flex.
God, body.
Oh man.
It ain't like my style.
Oh man.
God,
Body. Watch me move the crowd. Oh man, let's stop it right there. Let's stop it right there. This is Life is Poetic TV. Life is Poetic TV, brought to you by yours truly, Poetically, Poeticlee. And this is an experience that is like a practice of life, right? So what's gonna happen here? If you tune in, I'm always just gonna just reiterate some things. I'm going to present some prompts, and every topic that I feel like it's one thing to listen to something, but it's another to make it more engaging. So through some of the topics that we talk about here, I want to be able to turn them into prompts. You know, being a writer, being a poet, being a producer, being a creative writer. I believe that our inner narrator, our inner narrative is so important in how we're talking about it and how we're discussing with ourselves. And when we don't realize how much subconscious that we let toil around into our mind. You know, whether it's subconscious about our day, whether it's subconscious about the people in our lives, whether it's subconscious about our careers, there is always this inner narrative, and there's always this inner narrator that's reiterating some of these things that we believe in, reiterating some of the and even intensifying, you know, kind of going through it again. And that's why life is poetic, because it's really you sitting down with you to understand your own symbolisms and signs and your own significance of self-worth to yourself. I believe that. You know, there's going to be a show where we talk about value proposition, right? And that's going to be one of the biggest things I think I focus on and really talk about in 2024, is because how we're how we're just positioning ourselves and positioning our value to ourselves. You know, everyone's talking about boundaries, and I believe this has been a time where we do have some people that are a little bit more progressed than others when it comes to certain knowledge of self-discipline and self-development. And then you have, you know, another sector of people that are just learning on learning about the things that people may have gone to school, higher education, just may have had certain access to learn about these things. And now, like, when you talk about boundaries, when you talk about like a big one, you know, narcissism, these are some of the things that, you know, everybody's being able to have access to learn about now because of thankfully to social media, different outlets, and different media platforms that are talking about these things, because it's not just a coincidence. But I do believe that we're going through a time frame in just history, in a timeline of history where these things have to be brought to life. They have to be kind of like magnified and kind of just heightened, if you will, for more of our own just higher purpose. They have to be talked about. They have to be dived in. You're going through what you're going through, not just for you, but for the collective's purpose. Remember that. You're going through whatever you're going through for the collective purpose, for your family's purpose, for the roots of everybody that's come before you. You're going through these purposes because they need you to keep moving along the needle of expansion. They need you to keep moving along of evolution so that the next generation can take it to a higher level. We've gotten into a place, and it's so funny I'm even talking about narcissism, but, you know, we'll type into it. But I do believe we've gotten into a space where, you know, standing on the shoulders of our ancestors and standing on the shoulders of those that came before us is a lost art and a lost topic of discussion. Though, that's okay. That's okay. I believe that's part of evolution too. A part of evolution is to sometimes get caught up in so much of yourself and what you're doing. And I believe that's what's happening in the world. We got so free, you know, quote unquote free, right? We became so liberated in in how we were able to see ourselves versus the programming versus the systematic versus some of the things that you've had going on for centuries, where it was just like, here, just everything here. We're gonna just throw it. It's a blank canvas, and we're gonna throw paint everywhere, and that's what we fall into. So, it's a lot going on. We're gonna try to hit a few things and try to keep it fresh, try to keep it rolling. I'm gonna do my best right here to bring you content that kind of focuses on what's going on, but not just in the conversation base of maybe how it's being presented, certain just opinions. I really want to just prompt certain things, right? When you look at this time period, I say 2024 is all about standing on cat. Okay. I'm standing on cat in 2024. I'm standing on cat. And for me, everybody was saying this last year, everybody was saying I'm standing on business, I'm standing on business. And now, mind you, that seemed to be a very trendy phrase. I've heard that throughout my whole life. I'm and that's on business, and you got to mind your bit, because everything is business now. When everybody understands when it's about handling yours and handling your paper and handling what needs to be handled up to the utmost and to the finest T and dotted I, that is your business. That's why they say minding your business, which we're going to do a lot of in 2024, but we're also going to, while we're minding our business, we are going to observe the other businesses that are going on and maybe, not really judge them, but just understand and learn from the lessons that are happening. And I think that's why life is poetic, because you can look around the room. You may not have to judge it, right? You may not have to judge it, but you can look around the room and say, I believe there's a mental health issue happening over there. Why are you looking disheveled in this fine prestige meeting right here? I'm not going to judge why you look that way, but I can clearly see there's something going on here. And I think we need to take more time within the culture. We need to take more time as people to say, you know what? I can clearly, that's some crazy shit happening over there. That is just some wildness happening over there. However, what's happening over there is pretty clear there's a mental health issue happening over here. It's pretty clear there's a spiritual misalignment happening right there. It's pretty clear due to physical certain vices and certain things that you're doing to your body, that these are leading to XYZ, and it's not, sometimes we look at people and we say we want to throw something at them, and it's like, oh, this person must be on this or that. No, what I'm saying in 2024, when we see somebody, let's observe kind of the layers of, like, let's really look and kind of observe what's happening, like what is happening, not who they're just being, but what is happening right in front of our eyes. If you see somebody that's kind of like going through a moment where they're breaking down, is it just, oh, okay, they're crazy, or is, it looks like what is happening in this current moment is a mental health crisis. Like, they need some kind of empathy, they need some kind of care, they need some kind of attention towards an issue that is just bleeding out of them. And man, that's been, I want to also do Life is Poetic and tap into this world. So I'm an artist, I'm a producer, I'm a writer, and I do believe in, sometimes like I have it online, when you're an artist, your life is in a glass and trying not to let it crack. But when your rope is to your, as an artist, your life is in a glass and I'm trying not to let it crack, but it's hard to, I'm gonna keep it's in all of me. I'm in conversation, so I couldn't finish the whole bar. But my main point is, as an artist, your life is in a glass and trying not to let it crack. I believe life is art, and we're always trying not to let it crack. But it's so much that you can, your capacity can take. And sometimes people have a capacity that's like elastic. That's the thing about recording. You got to be on point like that. But sometimes let's talk about it. Sometimes you have a capacity that's like elastic. Sometimes your capacity is a glass vase. Sometimes your capacity is a balloon. And, however that's going to pop, however that's going to stretch, however that's going to crack, how are we being aware of our capacity? Because what's happening is we have a huge mental health. Not only do we have a heart issue happening on this planet, but we have a huge mental health issue happening where we're not understanding the capacity of what we're taking on. Now, let's say a lot of people do understand the capacity of taking on. They take it on they take it on intentionally as a destruction and chaos to themselves, to not just themselves but to the world around them. Yes, people, there are people out here that want to cause chaos and be just detrimental on purpose. They stand on business on that, and that takes for us to understand and be aware of how we're attracting those people into our lives, how we're attracting ourselves to those situations. I know for me, one of the biggest things, and I came into this year really understanding a new level. And here we go. I should do a ticker for how many buzzwords we say in the show. But here we go. I came into this year really understanding my value. Here's the buzzword, and my boundary. And what I mean by that is understanding my value and my boundaries is, for one, I believe we understand our value, and this is going to be a ongoing conversation, right? It's not just going to be one conversation that we stop right here when we understand value. This isn't the conversation necessarily towards value proposition, but it's just kind of building up to it a little bit. And I understand more of my value in the sense of who, and this requires being able to really know who you are. If I was around me, right? If I was somebody, put yourself in any given position. Like, look, think of 3 people in your life, right? We're just gonna pick them. 3 people in your life. If you were that person, take yourself out of you. If you were that person and you were experiencing you, what would you do? Like, how would you treat? How would you show up? And how would you just kind of be able to dive in and really learn from you? If you were that person, again, pick 3 different people in your life, whether it's a parent, whether it's a sibling, whether it's a peer, whether it's a coworker, whether it's someone could say an enemy. How would you learn from you? Right? And that is the biggest thing, right? That we're going through, because everybody's learning from everybody. Right? We're all learning from each other. It's not that you can teach me something that I can't teach you. It's not. And then what I'm saying about it is because there's this, shout out to Sev the Fairy. She showed up at R&B and Poetry. It's a series we do here in Winston-Salem, in North Carolina, period, because we just launched it in Charlotte. But one of the things she said when she performed in the Winston show, she said, she was talking about looking to people and not just looking up to people. Now, when you talk about looking to eye to eye, like I'm right here dialed into this camera, right? And you're looking at me eye to eye. We're seeing each other for who we're seeing each other as in this becoming moment. Understand what I'm saying? We're seeing each other as who we're becoming in this moment. Who I'm choosing to be in this moment is somebody that's willing to be open, willing to be vulnerable, willing to at least build a trust in this bond as you're listening to me, you're watching me, and me trust you. I don't even know who you are necessarily that's even watching this and listening to this, but me trusting the fact that I can trust what I'm telling you, and trusting what I put into you is something I will put into myself. And that's the biggest thing is, would we feed ourselves to somebody else, and are the people around us something we would feed into ourselves? Now, we're doing a lot of that already, though. Are we taking the notes? Are we taking the true accountability? Because I'm gonna say a lot of buzzwords, but life is about the buzzword. Like, let's really be buzzed about the things that we're speaking about. Let's really be buzzed about these different moments we're letting happen through us, right? These moments are happening through us. That's why life is poetic, because it's beyond, right? I want to refrain from saying what's not something. It is everything, though it is also beyond the moments that we're just experiencing. It's not about this whole thing of how deep we're speaking, though. How true are we talking? The truth that we're talking about is that we're always having room to become something more. We're always having room to become something more of the liar, more of the asshole, more of the bullshitter, more of the winner, more of the champion, more of the person that stays persistent on their mission. We're always having room to become more. Now it's between yourself and your highest self, this version of yourself that's talking to you, that's there guiding, that's gotten through it before you. That's the thing about it. You and this is why life is poetic, because I firmly believe that there's a version of you. There's a version of you that chose to do this again, to do it better. Let's focus in on that. There's a version of you that chose to live this life again so that you could do it better. Do you think there's a version of you that chose this life again just to do it worse than you did before? No. So everything you're doing is better. You have the choice to do it better. You have the choice to see it better. You have the choice to feel it better. You have the choice to embrace it better. It's not necessarily towards a certain feeling, emotion, but you have a choice to release better, to cry more, to do things more. I believe that if we come through the times that we say we come through, then, and we experience lifelines and we experience timelines, then if you look at the world from where it used to be to where we are now, then one could say we've been given this moment of opportunity in this given time span with the liberation, with the quote unquote freedom, with the awareness, with the enlightenment, with the accessibility. We have a chance to do it better than we ever could do in the past. Now, there are challenges, there are obstacles, there are people in the way, there's some more poison, there's of course all these things, while there are also more than ever so many tools to help us magnify, increase, and really brighten our gifts, really stand out, really show up for ourselves more, you know? And I think that's the why life is poetic for me in this particular case, is because there's always room for more. Every day there's room for more. There's always a showing of more happening. Now, what are we understanding? What do we see happening? What is that for us? And what does that sound like? What does that feel like? That's where the journey gets interesting, you know? And that's where we have to be true with ourselves. And that's why life is poetic. I'm going to keep saying that so that you understand what you're tuned in, what you're watching. Poeticlee.com. Make sure you tune in. Got to do that on plug right there. We're going to get into some prompts in a few. If you want to know what that song was at the beginning, let's get back into that a little bit.
Why you lying? Just
hold on, bring that back.
God, body. When I pop my chest, God, body. When I do my flex, God, body. Yeah, they
Like my style.
God, body.
Watch me move the crowd.
Why you lying?
That's my song. Shout out to Heroes Only, the brand, God Body. The song, I'm gonna put that out in 2021. Time flies when you're just making it happen. And Heroes Only, if you see the brand right here at poeticlee.com, you can check it out. I put that out in 2022. If I'm not, 2022. Man, these 2022, 2023 is an interesting time period. It feels like 1 year together. But I put that out in 2022. We're celebrating the 2-year anniversary coming up. And what a time to be alive. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful how that launched. And even when we talk about the energy of God body, it's going to be a whole conversation of itself, you know. The energy of God body is just understanding the presence of self, understanding the generator of self, understanding the destroyer of self, understanding the obligations of self, you know. So you generate this life, you're obligated to this life, and then you can destroy it at any time period in any form or facet how you would like. You have all those choices at your hand, and that's all operated through this vessel. That's all operated through this mind. That's all operated through this soul. That's all operated through this heart that we're allowing to just be pure with and be true with. And that's the whole format. And life is poetic for me because there have been so many moments in my life where I had to realize, how am I talking to myself? How am I truly identifying the symbols, the signs, the conversations, the moments, the anything, the feelings, the moves? How am I really connecting? How am I really observing? How am I really tapping into it? How? Am I just complaining? Am I just kind of running the same thing over and over again about woe is me? Or am I actually saying, that aligns? That aligns. And I aligned myself there. And because I aligned myself there, how does that continue to progress and move forward? That's where we're at. That is really what today is about. How are we progressing and moving forward? How are we allowing ourselves to be more of who we're becoming and being aware of who we're becoming more of? That's my question and prompt today. How are you recognizing who you're becoming more of? How are you recognizing who you're becoming more of? How are you recognizing who you're becoming more of? That's today's prompt on Life is Poetic, because who you're becoming more of Whether it's a conscious decision or a subconscious decision, it is happening at every given second because you're living, you're breathing, your skin is developing to it, your DNA is developing to it, your lifestyle routine is developing to it, your sleep patterns are developing to it, your conversations to you, not just yourself, but others are developing to who you're becoming more of. If you're becoming more of the winner, then that mindset bleeds out. If you're becoming more of the complainer, that mindset bleeds out. If you're becoming more of the healer, that touch bleeds out. So in 2024, how are we recognizing who we're becoming more of? That's my question. I'm going to reflect on that, and I'm going to talk about it next time that we meet up, So stay tuned, Poetically. Make sure you tap into the YouTube, like everybody does, subscribe, tap in, please share these conversations. Please share these moments that we're having with each other. I feel like they're going to go by so fast, but they're going to be worth every single minute, every single hour, every single view, single share, single like. I want to say thank you. I'm going to keep it nice, sweet, and short for you, but I'm definitely going to make it be something that's worth the while. So make sure you tap in more. Follow me on all socials, Poeticlee. That's Poeticlee. Till next time, baby, let's stay tuned in. And always, the question is about living the answer. Peace.